All right, so I just got back from my hike on the Camino de Santiago from Sarria to Santiago. So only the last 117 kilometers, just depending on where you start. But I wanted to give a breakdown on what I packed, what I would change. And to be honest, for the most part, even if I was to hike the entire Camino de Frances, I probably would have packed exactly the same with obviously those slight modifications. I'm going to give the breakdown to you guys. But as far as clothes go, let's just go ahead and go over clothes really quick. So I brought 3 100% polyester shirts. These are just workout shirts. I brought 2 REI Co. These are called their jogger shorts. I really liked these because they had pockets and a back pocket. And then I brought 1 pair of pants. I know a lot of people like the zip-off pants. Honestly, I hate those. So I brought a normal pair of pants. These are hiking pants, and they are like a spandex cotton blend, but they're actually almost like these pants are probably lighter than this pair of shorts, to be honest. And then 1 web belt. As far as underwear goes, I brought 3 pairs of, I believe, like 90% polyester, 10% spandex. These are like And One branded athletic boxer briefs. I absolutely love those. And then 3 pairs of the Darn Tough wool socks. Now, obviously, it's a wool blend, but I only brought 3 pairs. Now, if I was going to be hiking longer or even actually for the same distance, I would have brought 4 pairs, and that way I could change at lunchtime and have multiple pairs going on there. And then I also have a half buff. Now, this half buff is sprayed with the insect shield. It came with it. I love this thing. Obviously, a buff has many uses, like a face mask, a head cover, etc., and even a half buff will work for that. I did bring a Patagonia hiking hat. I have, these were my shower shoes. I got these from Daiso. The one thing that I would probably change with these is I would have just brought a pair of hiking sandals. So next time, instead of these shower shoes, I would bring probably something like these Tevas, just because that way I have something that I know that I can actually hike in. And then for my shoes, I brought these Columbia Flow, like hiking sneakers. Shoes and sandals and all that, they're all pretty particular to you as an individual. So I don't really want to go into them, but for me, they worked out just fine. And then I also had this North Face. It's just a very thin, like fleece hoodie. And then I have the last pair of clothing, I think, was this. This is a packable jacket from REI. It's called the Flash Jacket. If you know the Patagonia Houdini jacket, they're basically the same thing. So that's all the clothes that I brought. And then I also, instead of bringing a rain jacket or a pack cover, I brought a Frog Tog poncho. And I actually weighed the difference between the jacket and pack cover versus this, because this will cover both, right? It was actually a few ounces lighter. And then because that way I could make sure I get both things, it was easier to deploy, easier to put on in case it rained. That's why I brought that. Now, all my clothes, minus like the jacket and my shoes and this poncho, would fit in this like ditty bag. It's just a water resistant ditty bag. So it's nothing special, but very nice. I liked it. And then for my towel, I brought this really small microfiber towel. Now, if I was to do the Camino again, or when I do it again, I'm going to bring a much larger towel. This towel was perfect. It got the job done. It's just that a lot of the albergues, when they didn't provide a towel, it was really nice to have a full-size towel. So even though I'm going to have a microfiber towel still, it's just going to be one that I can actually wrap up in, because I cannot wrap up in this bag at all. So then we have all of my kind of loose gear up here. And all of this stuff either went in one of 2 bags. It either went into this 4-class packable backpack, or it went into this REI fanny pack. And I definitely wanted both, because this was stuff that I could access throughout the day, like my passport, my chapstick, like a pen, my pilgrim's passport, my wallet, right? And then this was stuff that I was really going to wait probably till I get to the albergue, like my toiletry kit here, this flashlight, that kind of stuff. Mix it up, and then this went into my main backpack, and it also gave me the option for when I got to where I wanted to go, I didn't have to only carry a fanny pack. If I wanted something larger for groceries or just like an actual day pack, this gave me the option. I can just take everything out of this, put it in my main bag, and now I have an actual like day bag instead of just a fanny pack, which is, I absolutely love that I did that. So we'll break down this stuff right here. Obviously, so I brought some wet ones and some tissues. These were just in the top of my pack every day for, you know, what you need tissues and wet wipes for lunchtime, all that stuff. It was good. I did bring sunscreen. I think next time I won't bring sunscreen, not because I don't think you need to use sunscreen. It's just because when the time of the year that I went, I actually ended up never using this because it was cloudy. And I also was always wearing a hat and stuff anyways. And I did not get sunburnt at all. But I know that some people, that's not their experience. It's just that if I end up needing sunscreen, you can buy that in Spain very easily, and they actually have like better sunscreen than we do in the US. Brought some Purell. This is a smartwatch. This is actually the Xiaomi Mi Band 8, but the main reason I wanted this over, say, an Apple Watch was because the battery life on this lasts about a week, but also it has a vibrating alarm, so it'll actually vibrate on your wrist. So unlike a normal watch, you know, that obviously doesn't vibrate. So now combine this with my phone on vibrate, I can have an alarm that goes off, and I don't have to like disturb everyone in the albergue for me to get up if I'm waking up earlier or later. As far as electronics goes, this is basically my electronics kit right here. Was this fast charger, and then this was actually a headphone cover. Like, these are some Kayla headphones, and inside here I have all of my cables. So inside this case I had all of the cables that I brought with me, which for my watch, which I only had to charge up twice for the whole 2-week trip, we have 2 USB Type-C cables, an adapter for those headphones, and my Apple charger for my phone. So this was nice to have. All of the albergues that I stayed in all had outlets literally right next to my bed or on top of it. And some of them even had these outlets, but I liked this one because it had a USB Type-C and USB Type-A. So technically I could charge 2 things at the same time. You definitely want to have chapstick that has an SPF to it. Maybe it doesn't need to be flavored. And then for any albergue that didn't have an outlet next to it, I did have this power bank. This was a 10,000 mAh, which means I could actually probably go a day or 2 without needing an outlet. And then this, if you did happen to have an Apple Watch, does have an Apple charger on top. So, you know, but I liked this one because it had USB Type-A, USB Type-C, the Apple Watch charger, and this was magnet to my case. So technically I could probably charge like 4 things at once, with 2 here, my phone here, and then the Apple Watch there. So pretty nice. You know, we obviously have a wallet, my passport, my pilgrim's passport. I got these headphones. These are the Beats, and that's just because they have a 12-hour battery life where they can be on and on my here. And that, I didn't really get this for the hiking part of it. I got this because the flight was like I believe was like an 11-hour flight. It was a direct flight for me. And so this way I knew that my headphones were going to die on the flight. We have 2 types of journals, the journal within, and then obviously a pen. And then up there, this is like Compede, just kind of like a cheaper version of Compede. You can make friends in the albergue when you can hand these out and people don't have spend, because you can buy those in Spain. They're just a lot more expensive. Then you have paracetamol. It's basically the same thing as Tylenol. Bought that in Spain. We have an eye mask, and then my toiletry kit, which I can break down here in a second. So this was the eye mask. I got this at Decathlon. It has a secret to it, and that is that you can put your earplugs inside. And so I absolutely liked that. Up there, we actually have a waterproof bag that I was going to use to do laundry in. Ended up never having to use it, but I wanted to have it. Plus, a waterproof bag in case it did get raining too badly. I could put my electronics in there, or just stuff like paperwork, stuff I just didn't want to get wet. So to break down my toiletry kit right here, this is just a bag I got from Daiso. But as far as a wash rag, this is like a ShamWow that I cut into a smaller piece. And what's really cool is you can just squeeze it and now it'll dry. An extra set of headphones, an extra carabiner, tweezers, fingernail clippers, a travel toothbrush, deodorant. And this is a Matador soap bag, which is pretty cool because you can put your wet soap in here, and then by about midday the next day, it'll actually be pretty dry to where you don't have to get like gunk on your fingers. I actually have 2 bars of soap in here, and this is what I use to hand wash laundry when I hand washed it. And then we have the Chomps. So this is a toothpaste like tablets. I don't know. I thought it was interesting. But you just chew this up and it will turn into toothpaste, and then you brush your teeth with it. But I thought that was pretty cool, and it allowed me to not carry as many liquids and stuff. And just the fact that, I knew I wouldn't have to, with 60 tablets, I knew I wasn't going to have to buy toothpaste anywhere for this. So for the last 2 things, I believe I haven't mentioned this. I did bring a headlamp. I liked this headlamp because it has a red light to it. And then it also has this memory function, unlike a lot of other headlamps, to where when you turn it on, it just goes back to like the main one. But there's a second button to cycle through the different modes. And so I thought that was cool. And then also on the side here, if you just tap there, you can change it from light to dark. So I thought this was a cool headlamp. And then it even gives you a battery indicator, but you can just use normal AAA batteries for this. And I believe this is a black diamond spot, I think. I'll have a link in the description. And the last thing that I brought was this Sea to Summit sleeping bag liner. This thing was awesome. I didn't use it for every single albergue. I used it for just a few, but I was definitely very, very glad I had it. It was soft, and then this had insecticide shield, the insect shield on it. All of my clothes, except for my underwear, and then even my bag, this bag, that bag, every bag, I also sprayed with permethrin. Now, I had no problems with bugs. Is that because I sprayed everything with permethrin, or because the time of the year that I went? I don't know. So this is what my bag looked like when it was packed. It only weighed about 11 pounds. And then obviously we have my fanny pack, and then 1 set of clothes with my shoes. I used the REI Trail 40. I would put the journals right here with the jacket. Now I did bring 2 locks with me. I definitely think you should carry some locks for your albergues or your hostels. Put your shell on the outside there. The only modifications I made to this bag was I brought this Matador phone pocket, which I absolutely loved. That was there. And then this water bottle holder right here. I wouldn't have Smart Water. I just had whatever brand was in Spain, which was a few different ones. And then you can just reuse that bottle. I did bring 1 water bottle, which was this mini Nalgene. And that was just because it had a big mouth. So if I had any type of electrolyte mix or anything, it just made it easier to mix it. But 11 pounds for all that. If I switched to those other types of sandals and a bigger towel, it probably would be like 12 pounds. I don't anticipate it being much heavier. And I don't think I mentioned these 2 last things. And that was right here in this pocket. I brought a stuffable shopping bag, and then I brought the Sea to Summit liner. But or not liner, but C2 Summit clothes hanger. And I never had to use this at all. I used this a few times, but even when I got that 4-class backpack, I ended up not having to use this as much, but I still liked putting it in the backpack just in case I brought something that was too big. But that's everything I packed on my Camino de Santiago from Sarria, starting in Sarria. And like I said, if I was to hike the whole Camino Frances, aside from the few changes that I already mentioned I would make, this is exactly how I would have packed. I guess maybe a few other changes I would have made is I would have brought some of these things, and this would have just made it easier to clip my trekking poles to the outside of my bag. It does come with trekking pole clips, but these would have just made it a lot easier. And then I probably would have brought my rain jacket as well, just because if it is raining, whenever I get to my albergue, I can take this off, I can let my poncho dry, and I can still go explore the city with a rain jacket instead of having to wear a poncho the whole time.